Would you please stand for the playing of the national anthem? Please be seated. I trust you were putting words to that melody because the chaplain, Reverend George Lewis, who should be offering prayers, not here as yet, and of course our national anthem is a beautiful prayer. Maybe later in the program when he arrives at the time of groundbreaking, he will bring prayer at that time. First, giving honor to God. I am Dr. Henley Morgan, and I will be piloting this morning's groundbreaking ceremony. In the way of introduction, class of 1968. I know to you students that sounds prehistoric. I would just advise you to live long and live good. Left in fifth form, also the founding president of the Ardenne Alumni Association, with Paul here. Maybe I should say local chapter, because you predated me. And also inductee into the Ardenne Alumni Hall of Fame. We have a very tight program this morning, so I'm going to be asking each speaker to exercise discretion in your remarks, which I will immediately violate as chairman. But please let us just move through the program before the heat becomes unbearable. I will be calling on Miss Nadine Malloy, principal, to do the welcome. But just ahead of Mrs. Malloy coming, and by the way, let me just recognize by protocol all persons who are here this morning. The minister, Honorable Favour Williams, is supposed to be here. She has not arrived as yet. The Member of Parliament, Mr. Julian Robinson, is here. Reverend Dr. Dave Goss, who is Chairman of the Board of Governors, and of course Reverend Ardenne Jones, who is Executive Chairman of the Church of God. We just want to recognize you, Dr. Winston Delahaye, who is immediate past president of the Ardenne High School PTA, and president of the Alumni Association, Mr. Jermaine Heslop, and founder director of the Toronto chapter, and also a Hall of Famer, Mr. Paul Barnett, and all of God's creatures made in his likeness. We welcome you, whether in present or joining us by social media. As I indicated earlier, the welcome will be brought by Mrs. Nadine Malloy, but just in advance of her coming, let me, in a way of setting the record straight, have everyone here understand that Ardenne has benefited from a line of great principles. Clap your hands for that. One good principle getting the same little subvention, right, and lip service from many quarters can make a difference. And Miss Nellie Olson, who was founder, was principal until 1944, and she was actually succeeded by her daughter, Mary, under whose leadership the growth of the school continued in an upward curve. I hope me coming to Ardenne did not shorten her tenure, although I suspect it might have. In 1951, then of course, following Miss Olson, Miss Mary Olson, was Miss Claire Gale, who took over from her in 1969 and served until 1978. And Mr. Roy Ebanks succeeded Miss Gale. He served until 1996. Mr. Winston Roberts, who passed away, unfortunately, in 1999, followed. And then Miss Esther Simpson Tyson, who I had the privilege of working with as a strategic planner. And just about when I thought there was nowhere else to go on that trajectory, came Miss Nadine Malloy in September 2012. And I want to apologize. I did suffer from some withdrawal symptoms after you left. But Mrs. Malloy, in her own distinctive way, has made her mark. And if I had to use one word to describe the principal, it would be class. Class in character and in decorum. And we're better to have class than in a school. And which school better than Ardenne High? So help me welcome Miss Nadine Malloy, who will welcome us. Okay. All right. I've been told that the chaplain has arrived. And at Ardenne, praying is not just a habit, although there's nothing wrong with that. Prayer is a lifestyle. And it's the first and foremost. It's at the top of our busiest day. And so at this time, I will invite the Reverend George Lewis to pray, after which Mrs. Malloy will follow with the welcome.
Let us pray. Eternal God, in you we live and move and have our being. The heavens are still telling your glory, and we are here to declare it as well, because you are good. We thank you for your faithfulness over these years. Thank you for the Christian heritage that we embrace. Father, it has always been our desire to expand, to grow, to be better at the things we do. And you have been our source of wisdom and strength. On this day, according to your own will and purpose, we are gathered on this spot of ground. We do not often come here at this particular point, but today it is our destiny. And so, Father, we come to celebrate another milestone. It is the day when we will break ground for something great. For you are a God who wants us to be well, not just spiritually, but physically, emotionally, and in every possible way. Bless, we pray, this ceremony, and let your name be glorified and our lives be transformed by the things we will do here. For the kingdom belongs to you. The power and the glory are all yours today and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Henley Morgan, distinguished past student of Ardenne. I greet everyone well this morning. I wish to acknowledge the presence of our Territorial Education Officer, Mrs. Hazel Masters Williams, representing the Minister of Education, and she won't mind me telling you that we went to the same high school. Our Member of Parliament, Mr. Julian Robinson, our Executive Chairman of the Executive Chairman of the Church of God in Jamaica, Reverend Ardenne Jones, the Chairman of the Board of Ardenne High School, Reverend Dr. Dave Goss, the Chairman of the Alumni Foundation, Mrs. Flo Darby, the President of the First Vice President of the Ardenne PTA, Dr. Winston Delahaye. We have a distinguished Hall of Famer with us, Mr. Paul Barnett. He wears so many hats, I'm not sure which one to give him this morning, but he's an Ardenne past student. The Vice Chairman of our board, our chaplain, you just heard him, Reverend George Lewis. Our Vice Principals, Senior Vice Principal, Dr. Jacqueline Pinto. Vice Principal, Mr. Jerome Wright. Other members of the board, our student governors, I see leaders, I see, oh, we have almost a full complement this morning. Our head girl, Anna Laura Roman Rodriguez. Got it right. And our head boy, Liam Mead. Our deputy head girl, Alia Hall. And we understand that the deputy head boy will be joining us soon, Sean Paul Morrison. Don't know how I remember all these names. And we have a budding politician in our midst as our student council president, Mr. Marlon Mattison. We have past principal, Mrs. Esther Tyson, and a whole heap of other Ardenne people. Yes. I can't name everybody. I'm looking at all the faces, and please be assured, I recognize almost all of you. I acknowledge you, and I welcome you wholeheartedly to Ardenne this morning. So, clap yourselves, man. Miss Miller, I'm sorry I didn't see you. One of our vice principals, Miss Hyacinth Miller. I did her first. Yes. Ardenne is a school of very big dreams, big visions for our students, and for those of us who work here too. And if there is one way I could describe the Ardenne experience, is that it seeks to make everyone grow and become a better person. After all, our motto is, with God as guide, seek the best. And so this morning, we are here to take one step further, a dream that has existed at Ardenne for a very long time, that we should have a health and wellness center. A center where our guidance counselors are represented this morning in their full cohort, and our nurse, who is also here this morning, they will be able to operate in a space that is conducive to health and wellness. Especially, and this is happening at a time when mental health, just how we treat each other, not just our physical health, but who we are as human beings, that is in sharp focus, especially coming out of the pandemic, where we recognize it is more important that we pay attention to how our people are, and in this case, our students and our staff members. And so this morning, we are taking another step in the right direction. I see people fanning, and I see the chairman, Master of Ceremony, is itching to tell me to come down. So I will just say one more thing. I want to thank a number of persons. I want to thank Paul Barnett for starting the seed, and it's growing. I want to thank the Church of God in Jamaica for approving our thoughts, our ideas, and our plans. We want to thank the architect. We want to thank the persons who came together to create this space for us this morning. We tried to do it yesterday, and we couldn't. Sometimes, there's a couple of slips between the cup and the lips. And we started this morning at 8 o'clock, and here we are. So I want to thank them on your behalf for creating this space for us this morning. And so, I welcome you, I thank you, and I look forward to these next important steps at Ardenne High School.
No, Miss Malloy, I would do no such thing. I have served all the detentions I ever hoped to serve on this campus for dictating to principals what their role should be. Thank you for extending the protocols to include our most important guests. I don't really guess because they live here, our students. Put your hands together for the students and the teachers and the ancillary workers. Wow. Thank you so much. Moving right along, we are going to be exposed to the concept of a health and wellness center within the context of Ardenne. But just ahead of them coming, I would like for you to know that this is a historic event. Come on, you ought to take out your pictures. You see, we never recognize the history at the beginning. And then later on we say, oh my God, if only I knew, would have taken some pictures. This is a historic event. So I'm just going to take 2 minutes and put it in a historical context. The history of Ardenne High School is grounded in faith, hope, and belief in the Almighty God. And that faith actually gave birth to the vision of Nellie Olson, the school's founder, to train young men and women in leadership of our beloved nation. And the vision motivated the start of the Jamaica Bible Institute with 5 students on January 6, 1926, and the school began in the High Holborn Street Church of God. 1 year later, the secondary departments of the Jamaica Bible Institute developed in response to a request by one of the original students, Miss Ada Harrison, to be prepared to sit the Cambridge local examination. And from this small beginning, the torch was lit, and it shone ever so brightly, attracting increasing numbers of students eager to bask in the glow of spiritual and academic knowledge. Soon there was the need for larger facilities, and George and Nellie Olson identified 12 acres of land on Ardenne Road. Oh my God, I just imagined the names they were called because of what this area looked like then. And through faith, the Olsons set their sight on the prime piece of real estate as a future home of the school. The Jamaica Bible Institute relocated to the property in early 1938. And on March 20 of that year, the service of dedication was presided over by the Honorable George Seymour. And there were 41 students and 6 teachers. Both the theological school and the secondary school contributed to continue to exist together until 1948. And in that year, the schools separated so that aid could be granted to the secondary school by the government. And on the 7th of October, 1948, Ardenne High School became grant aided. Now, over the years, there has been development in the school's physical plant. In 1951, the biology lab was constructed, and 3 wings were later added to the main building in 1952. In 1956, the Olson Hall was built, followed in 1958 by the B block. And then came in succession the canteen. We had fundraising for the canteen for about 20 years. I never got to eat in it. But there it is. The Roy J. Banks building, the library, staff room, the science block, and of course classrooms to accommodate the growing population of students. And here we are again. The expansion continues with the Health and Wellness Center. Clap your hands for history. Clap your hands for grace and mercy. Clap your hands for the teachers through the years, the administrators through the years, the boards of governors through the years. And since that was just a little fenky clap, clap your hands for the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of Lucky, that should be a standing ovation. I'm going to invite now, without much further ado, Mrs. Flo Darby and the architect, Mr. Anthony Thomas, to speak about the concept of the Ardenne Wellness and Mrs. Malloy Added Health Center project. Would you welcome them, please?
Good morning, everybody. Mrs. Hazel Masters William, who is representing the Minister of Education, Mr. Julian Robinson, our Member of Parliament, Reverend Dr. Dave Goss, Chairman of the Board of Governors, and other board members. I see Mrs. Carol Higgins, one of the board members, here as well. Ms. Nadine Malloy, our Principal, Reverend Ardenne Jones, the Executive Chairman of the Church of God in Jamaica and my pastor, Reverend George Lewis, Chaplain of the Ardenne High School, Chairman of the PTA, Dr. Delahaye, former Principal, Mrs. Esther Tyson, Head Prefects, you've been named before, Mr. Jermaine Heslop, President of the Ardenne Alumni. Jermaine, where are you? I thought, yes. Distinguished representatives of the Ardenne alumni, including our Hall of Famer, Master of Ceremonies, Reverend Dr. Henley Morgan, who you just heard from, distinguished members of the Ardenne Alumni Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, senior prefects and students of Ardenne High School. Today we breathe a sigh of relief. Our dream is becoming a reality. Today we break ground on our way to achieving a first in the Jamaican high school landscape. Am I right, Miss Malloy? Of course. The Wellness Center has long been a dream in our long list of goals and objectives. Today I've asked all our directors of our foundation to stand because they have been tower of strength in terms of us getting this dream started. Please stand. So we have Mrs. Vilma McDonald, who is a distinguished netballer in the days when we used to win everything. Mrs. Esther Tyson over there. Mr. Jermaine Heslop. Mr. Jennings Gordon, I haven't seen him today. Miss Rosemary Henry, who keeps us in check financially. Mr. Paul Barnett, Hall of Famer, and you'll hear a little bit more about him later. And he's all the way from Canada representing all the overseas chapters. Welcome them. Absent today would be Mrs. Audrey Chin, Mr. Dennis Livingston of Florida, and Mr. Houghton Henry of Atlanta. We're quite international, if you ask me. So the question in your mind today is, why do we want to build a wellness center? I think the motto says it. With God as guide, seek the best. Why shouldn't we have the best? Ardenne High School, as you know, is a co-educational institution, and we have outgrown our facilities, which provided for approximately 600 students in the years of the 70s when I was here. Our medical and our mental health needs were served in those days by one nurse, one guidance counselor. The guidance office was a small room at the back of the auditorium. The sick bay was a classroom retrofitted to house the nurse's desk and her cabinet. At present, the population of Ardenne is over 2,000. Right, miss? Just about. There is still only the one small sick bay of my time that served 600 students in the past with no provision of space for the staff when they are not well. So they share with those students. The school's guidance department has increased to 3 full-time and 2 part-time guidance counselors. But the space provided is still limited to 3 makeshift small offices to the back of the auditorium, which are neither adequate nor private. Given the increased mental health challenges faced by our Jamaican students, particularly with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, it has become an urgent need for our school family to provide the appropriate facilities for the nursing and mental health care of our students and staff. The Ardenne Alumni Foundation has been given approval by the Board of Management of the school to undertake the building of the Health and Wellness Center on premises owned by the school with permission from the Society of the Church of God in Jamaica. So the center will consist of some facilities which include a reception and waiting area, 3 offices for guidance counselors, I don't mean cubicles, offices, 2 counseling rooms, a nurse's station separate from the sick bay, students and staff sick bays and associated washrooms, general male and female washrooms for both teachers and students, a coffee tea station, student lounge, multi-purpose room, and a multi-purpose roof terrace. The new building will allow the school to provide a greater response to the health and wellness of staff and students, and more generally improve the environment for teaching and learning. In addition to the guidance counselors, we plan to provide in this building facilities for psychologists, social workers, and a part-time psychiatrist. Hello, are you listening? The counseling rooms will allow our alumni, by the way, I just mentioned, I asked our main psychologist whether he was listening. The counseling rooms will allow our alumni to mentor students and teachers in an environment that is conducive to fostering well-being. The building will be surrounded by green spaces, don't pay this much attention, that's happening this morning, and gardens, which will provide a tranquil and peaceful environment for wellness and healing. Our architect doesn't know yet, but when we have completed all of this, Ms. Malloy and the foundation look forward to the design of a swimming pool around there. We are grateful that we have some money to start this project. Yeah. Our Hall of Famer, Paul Barnett, has donated 100,000 Canadian dollars to start us off with our building plans. Just last evening, another distinguished Hall of Famer made a contribution of US $5,000. You can be a part of this exciting project. Whether you're here or you're all over the world listening to us on our YouTube channel, you can be a part of this. And we invite you to partner with us as we seek to educate well-balanced students and to seek to reform rather than expel troubled youths of Jamaica. We look forward to this exciting project when we invite you back now to see to the opening of our wellness center. So come on, Mr. Anthony Thomas, our architect. He's an alumnus of Ardenne as well, and he's going to give you a glimpse of our exciting project. Anthony.
Thank you, Flo. Good morning, colleagues, friends, well-wishers, and so good to see Sir Paul. You know, sometimes they ask some of us, who shall remain nameless, which year you left Ardenne? The answer is we have never left. Right, so I've been challenged by Flo as usual. She's always picking my brain to come up with a concept that will answer the question, the need for adequate health and wellness at Ardenne. And it's one of my privileges. I think hard before I was able to charge them, but you know it go. Right, so the team of us, I work with a team, and this is the concept we come up with. Right, so basically, it will be located right where you're, it will be located right where we're standing. Right, it will be a structure of 2 levels, approximately, on the 2 levels, approximately 3,000. Thank you. Right, approximately 3,500 square foot for the 2 levels, but we have an auxiliary roof terrace, which is approximately another 1,500 square feet. Right, on the ground floor, we have, well, the main entrance. We also have an exterior relaxation area with what we call a donor wall. I don't know if you know what a donor wall is, but it is where we will put the plaque when you contribute the funds that you will contribute. We'll be circulating the pledge forms, right? So each person can buy a plaque, and your name will be mounted on the plaque and put on this wall here, right? It will fall. The 3D is a little dark, but it will fall right under here. So this black area is here will be the donor wall where your names will go. And Flo can tell you the different levels of donor. I think we have basic, silver, gold, and platinum, and so on. So the amount you contribute will determine which plaque you get. On the ground floor, quickly, we have a reception area, lobby, waiting. We have staff, both male and female, sick bays with their adjoining washrooms. We have a nurse's station, independent of everything. So when you come to the nurse, she does her job, her diagnosis, and tell you whether you need to go home or go in the sick bay, or lie down or something like that. Right? On the other side, we have the female, male and female sick bay on this side with their adjoining bathrooms also. We have a lift, a chair lift. It's not an elevator, it's a chair lift. So if you need to be in a wheelchair, we'll take you upstairs. Right, we have janitors, we have a tea and coffee station, and also separate and apart from all the other washrooms, we have central washrooms, right, for visitors, and we also have a staff washroom. Right, so that's basically what's happening on the ground floor. Oh, we have in the reception waiting area, we have a spiral staircase, which is mounted in a water feature kind of pond with your koi fish and so on right here. And this spiral, along with the auxiliary staircase to the back, will take you up to the upper level. On the upper level, we have a student lounge in case there's a student with an appointment waiting to be seen by one of the councils. We have 3 guidance council offices, and as Flo said, not cubicles, but private room where interviews, consultants, and so on can be taking place. Right? In addition to that, we have 2 extra rooms for visiting psychologists and counselors. We also have a multi-purpose room, depending on what we need to do there, breakout sessions, meetings, and so on. We have a multi-purpose room here to the back. The lift and the staircases also take you up to the roof terrace. The roof terrace is split mainly between 2 functions. We'll have utility sections where we'll have maybe water heater, solar panels, and so on to this side. And on this side, we'll have seating areas for students. It can be a liming area, it can be a session area. You can also conduct breakout sessions from there. Right? So this is the site plan, basically how it is located on the site. This feature that you see here will face Ardenne Road, which is an adjacent we had made. We will be incorporating a bridge from here to the building, from the school to the building, which is here. This is the gully you're seeing right here. We call it, in architecture, we call it open drain, right? So we'll have a bridge that spans there. The bridge is not for vehicles. So we'll have an entrance from Ardenne Road, basically where it is now. So this is basically the site plan. This is the building structure you see here, right? So this is an artist impression that you would get if you come across the bridge and is looking at the building. These are the seating area, the external seating area, and the donor wall is right there. So this, in general, colleagues, friends, well-wishers, what we hope the Health and Wellness Center will look like. I mean, there's still some tweaking and adjustment to be done, and I'll be working along with the team and the foundation to see what we do. I hear talk of a swimming pool. There's also talk of a gym that we might be upgrading and putting the gym here, right? That's not a decision that's all as yet been made. So thanks for your time. I hope all goes well, that we can bring this dream to an early reality. Thank you very much.
Wow. Now, Flo, you're usually on the program to sing, but this morning your words were like music to my ear. It's amazing. Times have really changed. A swimming pool? You think back when I go Ardenne, you could have a swimming pool? There was one over there. And when we go, we had to be fully clothed. Wow, it's amazing. By the way, I don't see it anywhere on the program, so let me do it now. We are seeking pledges. At my age and stage, I'm considering that a good thing for us might be do. We may never leave Ardenne, but we're going to leave this earth. We could put the Ardenne Endowment Fund in our will and live forever. Also, with wellness centers, it's good to have a functional building. But what makes it work is the skills and the competence. So I'm going to be asking also for us to pledge time. Those of us who are in the health and allied health fields, even persons like myself who repeated forms 3 times at Ardenne, man, I can really help students. You think I joke me a joke? How you think I end up writing for the Observer? I got plenty of practice at Ardenne writing lines. Yes. So we could register with the foundation, could we not? Because as far as I know, the Ministry of Education and its staff complement does not provide for the kind of skills and competencies that would provide that service. Yeah, so, yeah. So I think we're also going to be asking for some support in that area. Clap your hands again. History being made. And let me just cap this off by saying you should take some time to just spend an hour or 2 with Nadine Malloy. I have the privilege of visiting many universities and colleges worldwide, and Ardenne is at college level, like in its student services, the use of technology, its planning. Ardenne is at college level in its internal capacities. Give God a hand clap for Ardenne.
Say something.
Come close.
When you have a pastor up here, you know what I mean? So, so I know that some of you have to leave in very, very quickly, but I was asked to say the cost of the project. It's upwards of $60 million. Okay?
Upwards of 60 million, and yeah. Yeah, it's upwards of 60 million, and with inflation, you know, put something on it. All right, now we're going to have, following in sequence without any interruption by myself, I have greetings and remarks. Don't know the difference. But anyhow, greetings by the Minister of Education, Youth, Honorable Favour Williams. Apology has been given for her, but she's being represented by a right. And then following her, we will have Chairman of the Board of Governors, Reverend Dr. Dave Goss. Then following him will be my member of Parliament, Mr. Julian Robinson. And then after the MP, we will have the Executive Chairman of the Church of God in Jamaica, who is Reverend Ardenne Jones. Then will follow an item by the Ardenne High School drummers. And then I'll come back to just introduce the persons who will make remarks. So put your hands together for the first speaker who will bring greetings.
Master of Ceremonies, Reverend Dr. Henley Morgan, Miss Nadine Malloy, Principal, Past Principal Esther Tyson, Member of Parliament Julian Robinson, members of the Board of Management, headed by Reverend Goss, Chairman, and other members of the board, members of the Ardenne Alumni Association, teachers, students, good morning. Thank you. Now I'm presenting on behalf of Minister Favour Williams. Thank you for the invitation to participate in today's groundbreaking ceremony. This is a very important initiative to add to the promotion of students' and staff's well-being. Commendations are in order to the Ardenne Alumni Association, the Board of Management, and the school administration for committing to this project. The holistic approach to student and staff well-being cannot be taken for granted. We're human beings who from time to time need intervention to deal with physical and mental health issues. In addition, schools have an essential role to play in supporting students to make healthy lifestyle choices and understanding the effects of their choices on their health and well-being. Childhood and adolescence is a critical period in the development of long-term attitudes towards personal well-being and lifestyle choices. The social and emotional skills, knowledge, and behaviors that young people learn at school help them to build resilience and set the pattern for how they will manage their physical and mental health throughout their lives. Schools are able to provide students with reliable information and deepen their understanding of the choices they face. They are also able to provide students with the intellectual skills required to reflect critically on these choices and on the influences that society brings to bear on them, including through peer pressure, advertising, social media, and family and cultural values. Several studies also indicate that there is a direct link between well-being and academic achievement, and vice versa. That is, well-being is a crucial prerequisite for achievement, and achievement is essential for well-being. Physical activities is associated with improved learning and the ability to concentrate. Strong supportive relationships provide students with the emotional resources to step out of their intellectual comfort zone and explore new ideas and ways of thinking, which is fundamental to educational achievement. We know that school administrators do not have control over the many out-of-school influences on student well-being. What happens in the home and the family, local communities, or social media can have as much, if not more, influence on student well-being as anything in school. However, the The supportive environment that the school offers can make a big difference in the lives of our students. We also recognize that developing a sense of well-being in students is made all of more difficult when school staff themselves do not have a positive sense of well-being. Stress at work is related to workload, quality of professional relationships, level of autonomy, clarity about one's role, availability of support, and the opportunity to be involved in changes which affect one's professional life. High levels of stress can lead to demotivation, lack of job satisfaction, and poor physical and mental health, which has a knock-on effect on students' own well-being. In that context, I hope and pray that this health and wellness center here at Ardenne High will provide an oasis of care for staff and for students alike. The Ministry of Education and Youth fully supports this venture and extends best wishes in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, all. Good morning. All protocol observed. It is my distinct pleasure, on behalf of the Board of Management, to congratulate the school, to congratulate the alumni body and the Alumni Foundation for getting this idea, which we have discussed in numerous board meetings, to fruition, at least to an introduction, which will now become a reality. And so it's a pleasure for us to see this happening. And I want to make this important point that I don't think in Jamaica we understand the impact of colonization on black people in Jamaica. We might look okay, but the inferiority which many of us have and how it plays out in our everyday life is tremendous. And in that context then, we appreciate and we welcome and we support this initiative, and we are assured that when it comes to wellness, we are hoping that less stress will be on our staff and students. One part of the teacher who taught here some, let me not say the time frame, said, I hope I work, man. I hope I work. Right? So we're hoping that we'll have our staff and students will have less stress, better employee health, increased productivity, and hopefully we'll have happier employees and we'll be able to improve our work relationships. So we wish all the very best, and as a board, we ask you to give your ultimate support to ensure that this doesn't only stay here, but it moves to practicality and is completed shortly so we can enjoy the benefits. God bless you, everyone.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students, good morning. One of the things that keeps me up at night is a reflection on how can we provide quality education for all students in Jamaica. And as I sat here reflecting on what has made Ardenne and continues to make it a center of excellence, I have concluded that it is the leadership of the village. And the village starts with the church, it continues with the alumni and the past students, it continues with the principal, both present and past, it continues with the students. And when I reflect on that village, which is why we are here, I wonder how we can replicate this across the country. I want to big up Ardenne in simple terms. I want to commend you for what you are doing. Not just this particular initiative, but the excellence which has been a hallmark of this school. And in commending you on this, I believe it is probably the most important thing that we can do, because we know how the difficulty students have had, particularly since COVID, just adjusting and the need for re-socialization. So this project, you say it's the first in the country. I'm sure other schools will want to copy it, but I want you to continue to demonstrate your leadership and excellence so that the country can see what a beacon of hope Ardenne is. I'm proud to have it as a school in my constituency. The good schools are the ones where once is PEP now, what do we call it, PEP, GSAT or Common Entrance, are the schools that they call the MP and say, MP, you know, my pitney never passed for this school, so you can't get me in here. But I also know, and Miss Malloy knows, I don't come to her unless there are very compelling cases and the grades have to be excellent. So commendations to Ardenne on this particular initiative. Commendations to you on everything that you continue to do. And we have to figure out, and I say we as legislators, how we can ensure that every child in Jamaica gets the Ardenne type experience regardless of which school they go to. Thank you very much.
Good morning, one and all, and hearty greeting to everybody. I am delighted and honored on behalf of the Church of God in Jamaica to express journey of faith for the church and school, primarily where we put faith first and then goodwill and money come afterwards, and do the proper alignment for the building out of the important structures that we have had. Anybody remember where you were when 9/11 took place? I remember I was in the tower 25 Dominica Drive. Well, one Saturday morning not long ago, Sister Flo called me regarding this project, and I remember where I was because I was in my bedroom. And she was outraged in a way that the property was being paved and, you know, some issues. But she's a member of the church at Olson. So we resolved those quietly, and I believe everything is in quite good order. I want to track for 1 minute the last 12 years in the Ardenne context and the Church of God context. The NCB block, our last major building at Ardenne, I believe, was done in about 2010 to 2009, around that. I remember that very well. Then the Olds Memorial Chapel was completed in 2015, Sister Flo. Yeah. And then we recently had the Hope Business Place, which was like 2 years ago. And then the Ardenne Prep and Extension fire, which has led to a need for restoration. That building is on the way now. And now we are doing the Ardenne Wellness Center. I believe all of these together represent an advancing of the work of the church with the school and stakeholders, enlarging the territory, as we like to say from Bible, and then emboldening the presence of the school right here at 10 Ardenne Road by doing practical things that will inure to Jamaica becoming a more humane society. I believe the Wellness Center is a part of humanizing a broken Jamaica. A broken Jamaica with a lot of decoration over the brokenness. So Sister Flo, kudos to you and the team. And good speed. And we look forward to celebrating the building on the milestone.
World class. Wow. God bless you. All right, we're moving right along. We're up against time. We are right at the time, a little past when Flo wanted to. And I have to remember, I'm Baptist. Flo is Church of God. In my church, when service starts, you know how you know when it ends? Look on the calendar. Remarks will be brought by immediate past president of the Ardenne High School PTA, Dr. Winston Delahaye. He will be followed by the president of the Alumni Association, Mr. Jermaine Heslop. And bringing up the rear, although this man leads from the front, it's Foundation Director for Toronto Chapter Hall of Fame, an outstanding citizen of both Jamaica and Canada, Mr. Paul Barnett. Would you welcome them all?
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. Good morning, everyone. We were, in fact, exposed to world-class drumming. There are few persons with a pair of congas in the living room. I have, having been taught here by Noel Dexter in fourth form, almost 50 years ago. All right, but really, the chairman of the board made reference to transgenerational challenges. I won't expand on those, but we struggle with them. The point is mental health, behavioral challenges that plagues our society. It's a major challenge. A big part of that is poor parenting, and so the role of schools, of teaching, of teachers, that has changed dramatically. And therefore, we must recognize the need for more support. And I certainly see this morning's activity of groundbreaking for a center of this nature as critical and crucial to development. I'm part of a national psychiatry WhatsApp group. And when I posted this picture, I got calls from all of my friends asking, how do we do this at the schools up the road? And so I really just want to big up Ardenne that this is a big deal. It's another first, and I certainly look forward to participating practically in the rollout of this. Thank you very much.
There are so many distinguished persons here this morning, so let me just say good morning to everyone. Good morning. And let me start where Dr. Delahaye left off, because in December I showed a friend of mine who is from the school up the road, right? And I'm sure the minister would know what I'm talking about. And they're asking the same question, how can we replicate this? And so Ardenne continues to be a trailblazer, a trendsetter. And that is who we are. With God as guide, seek the best. And so it is a beautiful day, not only because of the weather, but we are a part of history. This is another momentous occasion in the life of Ardenne High School, the groundbreaking of the Wellness Center of Ardenne High School. And I know that this is a vision of many persons. And this is a part of a vision that is coming true. And I am delighted on behalf of the chapter president to be a part of history. And I look forward to the completion of this project. And of course, the completion of the project will require resources. And I want to make an appeal on behalf of the chapter presidents to everyone sitting here to let us make this dream a reality. Let us be a part of the community, of the village that will help to raise our children. We are living in some challenging times. We are living in what I would call a post-COVID era. And with that came many challenges that are affecting our students. And especially in the mental area, the mental health area, you know, our students are in need of help. And you are a part of making this vision. You can make a difference in the lives of our students by your contribution to the Wellness Center. And so, on behalf of the Ardenne Alumni Association, I want to congratulate the school and the school administrators, the Ardenne Alumni Foundation, for this occasion. And I look forward to later on when we will have, you know, a different kind of ribbon cutting. It will be the opening of the Wellness Center, where we will look back at what it looked like. I hope we're taking pictures so we can look at the before. So we are now a part of before. But in a few months, we're going to see the after. And we're going to juxtapose them and to see, wow, look at the work of the Ardenne community. Look what teamwork can do. So God bless you as you continue to be a part of history.
Good morning all protocols observed. I am delighted to be sharing today this occasion on behalf of the Toronto chapter. I bring you greetings. On behalf of the overseas chapters, I bring you greetings. I told them when I went down, you know, all will be well. Across Toronto, across Canada today, they are streaming. The Council General in Toronto asked if we could send the link, because we have sent out to over 38 schools, alumni associations in Toronto, to be viewing what's happening here today. I want to leave with you one of the verses that you know, we come from the background of the church and the school. I want to leave a verse with you. Luke chapter 12 and verse 48. For much who have given, much is expected. And I'm speaking to you worldwide. Those of you who have been given much, you'll be hearing from us. We're expecting much. On behalf of Toronto, I want to say, we want to launch a campaign today worldwide. We are leaving here $1 million Jamaican to get the campaign in Toronto and otherwise going. So Flo, we will do the transactions and pass it over to you. You'd like to see it from Canada to Jamaica? Yeah. So, USA, or our chapters in Florida, Atlanta, New York, we have begun. Let's step up to the plate. God bless.
And remember, at Ardenne, we don't really compete among ourselves, but it is the Ardenne Alumni Foundation that is primarily driving this in association with the Ardenne Alumni Association and, of course, the wider Ardenne family. Okay, we will not have, just before we transition to the actual groundbreaking, we will not be having a formal vote of thanks, but past student Trudy Williams asked me to recognize the media, and that gentleman you see walking there with a camera, is he an Ardenne past student? He was especially enthusiastic in his capturing of this event. Is it CVM? GIS. And we have the observers here. And also CVM, is it? So clap your hands for the media because they're the ones going to spread this news near and far. We now move to the groundbreaking and the participants. Where exactly is this going to take place? Well, would these people just congregate? Remember, this is also a photo op, and so you all got to try to put on your happy faces, okay? The Ministry of Education, Member of Parliament, Executive Chairman of Church of God, Chairman of the School Board, Principal, PTA President, Alumni President, Representative for the overseas chapters, and student representatives. The rest of you, would you just remain seated? As soon as this is done, we'll just come back and take 5 minutes to close off.
Everything turned the wrong way. Hold it. Don't just sit. Just put like that. All right. Step back. Step back. It's still turning it up. Step back a little. Step back a little. All right. Turn. Just turn it. Just turn it now. Turn it. Look out the dirt. Go out. Go here. Turn it. Just cancel the big and turn, please. Just cancel the big and turn. Yeah. I can't see you guys' face. You have to just take up a shovel and turn it over. All right. Like that? Just here you go. Thank you.
Yes, please come back as we. Please resume your seats so we can end in an orderly fashion. All right. It's 11:25. We're going to end at 11:30. Could you just take your seats? Let's end the Ardenne way. We're going to have a rendition by the Ardenne Alumni Choir. Oh, it's a school song. The words are on the back of your program, I believe.
So as we go, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to thank our distinguished Hall of Famer chairperson, Reverend Dr. Henley Morgan. Give him a hand, please. He always brings the function to life. So thank you, Dr. Morgan. We appreciate you. By the way, we're looking for students of each year. We have 95 years graduating classes. We would like to identify students from each year. And we have something in mind. So if you don't mind letting us know, any one of us know what year you are and whether you're willing to help us to achieve our goal. Charles Wright, calling you. Where? So we shall do the school song and you stand for it, please. It's the Ardenne's anthem.